Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm super excited for our guest today. Let's see if I can get. Okay, there we go. Now the iPad dropped. So today we have a special guest join us. His name's Chad from City of Lions. So if you haven't heard of City of Lions, out there in the main entrance, you guys can put on a headset. He has a sample song on there that you guys can listen to. He's excited to come out and be our guest today. And what we're going to talk about today is music as medicine. I actually met Chad from City Lions at Soapstone. Give Chad a warm welcome with loads of confetti. Just rain him with confetti as he comes out. Chad, come on out. From City of Lions, we have Chad joining us.
Guys? How are you? How's it going? Making sure I'm not muted. Hi, guys. How are you? How's it going? Let me get a seat right here. All right.
Yeah, awesome. Chad,
how's it going, everyone?
Thanks for joining us. Okay, so I'm going to come over and try to give you this high five thing. And
woo!
All right, it worked. Tell everybody a little bit about you.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys this evening? I'm from California, so it's just kind of like late afternoon right now for me. But I started my music in LA, and I just moved south. I've got a family, but we'll get into that more. But yeah, my name's Chad. I'm 31 years old, and I am a multi-instrumentalist. And of course, by 15, I suffered crippling heartbreak from rejection from this girl. And if there's not a better thing to start writing music about right there, folks, that's where I kind of discovered that music could help me through these situations in a really brand new way. But I started making music. I have a friend, Joel Piper, who was in a band, Confide. They were a post-hard rock band, and one of their famous songs, they did a really great cover of Such Great Heights by the Postal Service. And that song is incredible. But Joel is just one of my best friends. He's my brother, and not my real brother, but my brother. And so me and him got together, and we produced the first album. It was called Chad Nathaniel. And then that's my first and middle name. And I decided that I felt kind of weird with the idea of seeing my name like up too big. I was like, nah, I'm going to change it. So I had a dream that night, actually, involving wild dream. I have wild dreams. And so involving me going to this giant city where these lions were guarding it and stuff like that. So City of Lions was born, the idea of it. So me and Joel worked on that album, and we kind of had our big breaks. Do any of you guys know Dude Perfect? You guys know there's these trick shot guys that do. So yeah, Dude Perfect kind of picked us up. We got probably 4 of our songs in Dude Perfect videos. So if you guys have watched Dude Perfect, you may have already heard some City of Lions before.
When I met you, we started talking about your experiences as an artist and your God experiences. One of the things that you talked about was you made a mention about music is medicine. Can you explain,
yes.
Like, what do you mean by let's talk about that for a second. What do you mean by music is medicine?
I kind of scratched the surface of it back when I was talking about like the heartbreak and stuff like that. And I think it's really cool because I've crazy ADD. And so being able to put my thoughts down and even to think about how I feel sometimes can be wild when my brain's going a million miles an hour, and sometimes it feels like you have 6 or 7 brains working in tandem going together. So to put your thoughts together can be hard and frustrating when you have so much going on and surging. And so something that I've discovered through music is the ability, and this is true with poetry, even just with writing, but for me to be able to take the time to really think, what do I want to say here, and realizing that music goes on, it's powerful, and the words that I speak are powerful. And so put importance to what I say. I don't want to just say any words. I want to say words that can live on, and outlive me. And so, I want to be speaking words of life to people. I don't want to be tearing people down, because, you guys know the body's made of 80% water, right? And what does sound waves travel the best through? Through water. And so our bodies are conductors of frequencies. And so when we listen to music, it's not even just hitting our ears, but it's going through our entire body. It's going through all of our system. And so the ability to not only do the whole word section, but to be able to craft the music, it be able to craft the frequencies that go along with it, all from the same place that I'm feeling. When I put a song out, I really let go of that issue that I'm
Yeah,
going through, and it really it's kind of done and gone away with.
that's awesome. I would love to know like how many people are here. Is there anybody here that are musicians that play any kind of instrument? Anybody? Oh
Oh,
yeah,
right
okay, yeah. Oh
on.
yeah, I see
Come
hands up. All right,
on.
awesome, cool,
Come
awesome,
on.
awesome, awesome, very cool.
Let's
So
go.
I can, so okay, so I know Chad that you also like you serve at a church right now, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. I've done
You're
children's
involved in a
ministry since
church?
I was a child. Yeah. So yeah, my wife's a children's pastor, and I always do. I kids are the realest people that I feel like there are. And so when I get to spend time around kids, people say, "How do you do that?" I'm a high energy person, and there's something about getting to serve in children's ministry that you just really like. If a kid thinks that you're terrible on stage, they'd just be like, "Boo, you stink, get off of here." And the only way to get
Yeah,
around that
that's good.
is, and especially when you're worshiping, is like you have to just be sincere from the beginning. You can't take any
Mm,
time to get yourself sincere, because kids see that, and I love that about kids. I have two kids myself. I have a daughter who's 2.5, and I have a son who's 3 months old. And so
wow.
so it's but it's they're just it's amazing just how just pure kids are, and I love that about them. And I getting to serve with kids. I do VBS every summer, and if you guys don't know what that is, that's basically like a week long day camp with the kids. And so me and Joel Piper and Travis, who's going to be here, he was going to play guitar for me tonight, but he's sick. But Travis, if you're going to be watching this, and I love you so much, I wish you were here. Um, but we have a band called Your Friends, and that's our children's band. And so we go and perform in front of like 750 kids at these VBSs, and we get the kids. We have to be dancing, and there's something really cool about that versus hanging out with adults.
I'm gonna share something about music for me, and I would love to get your input on this, Chad. So like I said, I used to play country music. So I have an identical twin. We
Oh,
played country music for 10 years. I haven't even told you that. I know
yeah,
Metalivia knows because she keeps trying to get me to sing. I can't sing right now.
yes.
I've still getting through COVID, and there's some other reasons I can't sing yet. But one of these days, I will sing out there. Okay,
One
it's
day.
nothing like Chad. Okay, Chad's
Well,
like
I can't do
he's
that. I
you
can't
guys
do
are
that.
you
I
guys
can't
are
do that
stored.
country stuff
You
though.
can't do that country stuff. Well, everybody says I have an accent. I don't even hear it, but I guess I
I
do.
hear it. I hear it.
So you
It's
hear
nice.
it,
It's
all
quaint.
right?
It's quaint.
It's
It's
not.
quaint.
It's quaint. Okay, all right. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so I played country music for 10 years. Um, After that, we got into music because we loved playing music. But then it really became the point for me. It was like it was making money. Like I wanted to make more money. I wanted to become this big star. And I started going down a pretty dark path, with pretty heavy drinking and stuff and partying and stuff. After 10 years, we ended the group. Me and a couple of the other musicians kept doing our own thing, and then finally we just stopped. And then years later, we ended up going back to church and playing at church and stuff. And then fast forward through that, I ended up playing at a worship team and becoming like,
Oh,
for me,
yeah,
music, like that's the way I worship the creator. Like I can
yeah,
get out there and I can hear music and I can worship, but it's different when I get to play my instrument. And
yeah.
I'm a bass guitarist, so like I play acoustic and stuff, but my instrument is bass guitar. Like that's my instrument, and it's just something different about worship when I get into that.
Say mine is drums, bro. Yeah,
Really
like
awesome.
oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, drums. Drums I've been playing for the
the
longest time, and so when I'm drumming, that's my favorite to do worship on.
See, now I know why we're clicking so much. Because if any of you know bass guitar players or drummers, like
Exactly.
this is it right here. This is who we follow. We
There's that
follow each other.
connection.
There's that
Exactly,
connection.
exactly. The
Yes, yes,
spine,
yes.
the
That's right.
backbone of the music.
That's right. That's right. When I asked you a question earlier about how, like, have you guys ever noticed that music can change your attitude? I asked that because for myself, I can really. I, Again, I'm a vinyl addict. I have so much music here. I just told Meta Olivia I went out to a antiques place over the weekend, and they had a whole collection of all jazz records, and I couldn't walk away. Like each set had 3 records and there was 20 sets, and they said, I'll make you a deal on it. They're like, you buy all of them, we'll charge you $2 a set. I'm like, load them up. So I brought
Yes.
like 70 something records home on Saturday
That's right. That's tight. That's so
to
tight.
my already 200 collection. And some of you probably have way
Yes.
more than that. But I love listening to music because it helps me unwind and just process what's going on in my life. I love classical music. I love Christian, CCM music. I love hip hop. My son Arcane here, he's a huge hip hop fan. I won't even try to say their names because I
Nice.
always butcher their names, the artist names. But another thing, I mean, I like rock too. I mean, I listen to all these different things. And at one time in my life, how many of you guys I like oh my gosh, now I got to remember their names. Actually, Imagine Dragons. Anybody here know who Imagine Dragons are? All
Yes.
right, okay, yeah, okay, cool. Oh yeah. A lot of Imagine Dragon fans here. All right, I love listening to Imagine Dragons. And I mean, what is that one song? Do you know who Imagine Dragons are, Chad?
Actually, fun fact, our one of our albums was mixed by Josh Mosser, who has writing credits on
No way.
Radioactive, and he mixed their whole album. So he's buddies with their whole
Wow.
all of them. Yeah.
Well, okay. Do
Yeah.
you know? I think the song's called "Believer." Is that right, Arcane? Is that
Oh
right?
yeah.
Is the song
Make
called
me
"Believer"?
up,
Yep. Okay.
make me a
Yes.
believer,
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I
believer.
love that song. I love it. So there's one verse in there though that can like I was kind of going through a stage where like people were like discouraging me and I was like not happy and I kept listening to that song over and over and I found myself nothing against them and nothing against the song, but for myself personally, this place I was in my life at that moment, that one verse was fueling a fire inside of me that was building up. And I realized I'm like, I need to take a break from this song for a minute because I'm like, something is building up in me that isn't good. And it reminded me of the past me. And I had to take a break from it because the past me, if you would look at pictures of me, I'm if you look at pictures now, I'm smiling all the time. I mean, I'm a happy person. I love like I'm always looking for like the joy and what the creation is, like what God's done today. But back then, when I was country music and I got really heavy into the alcohol and just chasing the dollar and trying to make a name for myself, dude, I was not a happy person. Actually, our old drummer sent me a video and said, "Hey, I found some old videos of us playing music," and I watched it and I'm like, "Dude, I was a freaking jerk."
Wow.
I
Wow.
was a jerk. But it was the music that was like that I was pointing to myself. There's actually a Bible verse in Philippians in chapter 4. If you read it, it actually talks. Let me see if I can read it to you guys real quick. It's in chapter 4. It's actually in verse 8. It says, "Now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing: fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about the things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Keep putting into practice all you've learned and received from me, everything you heard from me and saw me doing. Then God's peace will be with you." I realized at a certain point in my life that I had to fix my thoughts on the things that were good. And when you said music is medicine, it made me think about me as a person. The inside of me was different depending on what I was downloading into me constantly every single day. And again, like I listen to a wide range of music. So I'm not against music, but it's like I think it's important for us to remember like whatever we're downloading to our minds every day, whether it's on music, whether it's on TV, whether it's what we're reading, what we're doing, even in the metaverse or on digital, that can play a role in who we are as a person. And if you're a Christian, it can play a role in how your light shines as well. So I would love to get your thoughts on that.
That's so true. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like if you're going to be constantly taking in water that's, highly chlorinated, eventually it's going to take a toll on you. Food, what you put on your skin, that's going to take a toll on you. Same thing is true with what you put into your eyes, what you put into your ears. And so when you're hearing, I mean, like that really rung a bell with me. I a little while back went through some time where I was really upset towards a certain person, like a one person in particular, and I found some music that was just some really like heavy, angry uh
Yeah.
metal, and I love metal, but there's uplifting, and then there's this one was really aggressive, and yeah, I found myself just really like a whole new level of like anger, that I felt, and I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, this is not like who I know, I am. And
Mm,
so and it's so funny because it really doesn't, it's not going to hit you fast, but if you're taking that in, you just have to be aware of it, because like I said, even the frequencies of everything that we're listening to, there's certain songs that, they make me feel sick from, from the actual, way that it's hitting your body, and that's not even with what words are being said. And so yeah, it's so important to be aware of all of that. We're so aware of our five senses, and there's this,
Mm.
this other sense that we so often neglect. I feel like if we were aware, yeah, that would we could really change yourself from like the inside out, and it definitely.
Okay, I think this is a good time to do Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, if you guys want to go back to the iPad, you can click that little dot, and then I'll call you guys up by name. Metalivia, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you up. So
What's up,
you come on up here
Metalivia?
to this stage, and you go ahead and
Hello.
let us know what your question is.
Okay. So my question is obviously, Chad, we were kind of chatting earlier, and you said, things have been different with COVID and all of that. So my question is like, does this feel different as opposed to like if you were really doing an interview in like the real world and with people, or also like, do you have the same nerves getting ready to perform in the metaverse versus, like a real live show?
That's a really good question. I'm so surprised. This is the first type of event like that I've done in the metaverse. And guys, it honestly, I feel like I'm just chilling here with you guys. Like this feels like events that I've done live. And even in soundcheck earlier, when we were testing it out and I was getting to perform on the stage, I was just blown away by as this feels like real connection. And it's crazy because when you're like looking at someone, like you can tell you're looking at them, and it's different than you're seeing your third person avatar or whatever, running around or in a chat room where it's just text. I'm blown away. Yeah, I feel like I would love to do so much more through this. It feels like we're all breathing the same air here, guys. It's amazing.
So next week at the same day, same time, we actually have a guy that's going to be joining us. His name is Josh Lorich. Josh Lorich is with a company called 55 Promotion. Now, does anybody in here know who For King Country is? Okay, yeah, I see. Oh, yeah, I see hands coming up. Okay, cool. So he actually works with them. He's a promoter for musicians, and his whole thing is about the power of stories. So I would love just invite you guys all out next week, same
That's
day, same time, to
tight.
come out and meet Josh. He's a great guy. I know we're gonna have an awesome conversation. So, all right, with that, cops, let me go ahead and bring you up.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
It's wonderful to have you here.
Woo,
So I'm
so
excited.
thrilled.
Yay.
I'm so thrilled.
This is awesome. Thank you so much, Killer B, for
Yes,
doing this.
woo.
City of Lions for coming. Chad for coming.
Thank
you
you.
so much. I really appreciate this. And this is great, just seeing everybody here and a lot of my friends. Hello. Hello. Haven't seen you in a while, Benji Boo. Hi. So yeah, I was curious because I haven't heard of your songs or your album or anything.
Great.
It was from Killer Bees is that I have heard of
That's
you.
fantastic.
So I haven't yet gone to listen to any of your music, but I'm curious, is it Christian based or is it kind of just
Yes, it
secular
is.
based
Yeah,
music?
That's a fantastic question. I call it first person Christian. So it's not ever in a third person. It's all how I talk. And so it's so often when I talk to God, I don't talk to him like I just talk to him how I talk to any of you guys. And so that's
Okay.
the relationship that we have. And so my songs, they're written on that level where there's always, God is always woven into every song.
Okay, so with that being said, I've been on a journey in my life the past couple years, and I've really had to rebuild my entire foundation. Well, my foundation was solid because that's been built on Jesus, but I've had to rebuild everything else because I'm coming out of false teaching. And in coming out of a lot of false teaching and what I grew up in, it's just devastated me. And I've gone through deconstruction, and I'm trying to have this personal reformation to try to know the truth. What I'm concerned about in musicians today is with their music, I hear a lot of doctrinally wrong lyrics and lyrics that are not following scripture. Or is that something that you're concerned with? Or how do you go about making sure that it is scripture and accurate and not following any false teachings?
I really love that question so much. Wow, that is I love that. I think it is so easy because music is an emotional creation and you're investing yourself so much in emotion and sometimes some of the
Mhm.
most beauty can be created from pain. And so I think that there's with a lot of musicians, one, I think it's a perfect disaster where they're often pursuing just the emotion over and over again,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
they're tying in with that. And then two is the the music industry is very dark. Whether you're
Mhm.
the Christian or not, the Christian industry is the labels. Oh, the majors own the Christian subs, and these Christian
Yep.
subs are hiring writers that are coming out there just the same way that Sony is, just the same way Universal is. They're coming out and they're having these writing camps, and so these people are the same. Writers are getting around in there, and so a lot of these Christian writers are being affected by what's going on. They're not not so secluded, and so they're putting themselves in a vulnerable place. They're emotionally weak, and when your emotions run
Yeah.
high, when that happens, your spirit is weak. And so when your spirit's not fed, it's asking for that to come in and them to follow whichever doctrine is seems to be the way of the current time. The Bible says it's just like an ocean, it'll be washing back and forth. And I love what you said about you have the firm foundation. I relate to you so much about with that. I just left the church that I had been going to since I was 8 years old, and for that same reason. And what I love is just people, we all really are not we're not perfect. We're all
Right.
really terrible,
Yeah.
and so like I said, it was devastating to be at a church where finding out was going on there, and to see the faults that the people were going through. And it's still something that I struggle with, but it's so great to see that, yeah, we're just dirt. We're just dirt. And so the more I realize that we're dirt, the more I see that that God's good. And if you realize that, and if you just really talk to God, he loves you so much.
Yeah, and I would like to add, what, to cops, what you're asking too. I want to encourage everybody here. Like, I'm so glad that you were open to talk about that question that cops had, because we work in the music industry, and I can tell you, just as like we actually I just wrote a blog, and we actually just sent out. It was from an artist. You guys can look her up. Her name is Lydia. Now, Olivia, tell me if I say this right. It's Lydia Laird, right? Look up Lydia Laird. She just released a
Cool.
new song. She's an amazing artist, and she just posted something on social media about the pressure that she has as an artist. Like, it's not even about the music anymore. It's about
It's
the
about TikTok
labels
now.
are. Yes, and that's exactly what the pressure they're getting. Like, we need you to be performing and putting out so much content and have a huge
Yeah,
following
yeah,
before
yeah,
we even consider you as a musician. That's
yeah,
hard because you guys are pouring out your hearts. But you have, you're trying to make a living, and you're getting pressure from certain labels. And let me tell you, I work, like, I've got a lot of friends in the record label industry, and there are some labels out there that are really good, and they do care about their artists. But please understand, like, be praying for those people, because they also are put up on a pedestal, and when they walk off, people expect them to have this perfect life, and they hold them to the standard. But inside, just like all of us, there's things going on that they're dealing with, and they don't have the freedom to actually talk about it so openly because of all the pressure that's on them. I do want to give you guys this thought. Pay attention. Pay more attention to what you're listening to, and what you're pouring into yourself. Like, the music, like you said, you're talking about all like the frequencies and stuff. Like, what did you call it? Like, I'm not
yeah,
big on
yeah.
music.
Even we're
Yeah.
even aware of that. Me and Joel, when we're mixing, we
Wow.
we purposely are pulling out frequencies that are contradictory, and obviously that's it
Wow.
makes it sound better, but there's actually we're trying to delve into that even more.
So there's a reason behind it. It's not
Yeah.
just done by accident. Well, hey, Chad, thanks for joining us today at the Killer Bee
Yes,
Studios. It was
my
awesome
pleasure.
having you here. It was awesome having you here. Let's see if I can give you a high five. Let's see.
Woo!
All right, cool. You guys, yes, look at all the confetti out here. You guys enjoyed the show. Please make sure you hang around afterwards to talk to Chad from City of Lions, and he's going to be performing out on the lawn here in just a few minutes. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up, and we're going to come up here and take a selfie. All right, we should be able to hear everybody now. So let's hear it. Can we hear you guys? Yeah, there we go. Awesome.
That was
You guys can
awesome,
all
guys.
jump up
That was
here.
awesome.
You enjoyed it? Awesome. Well, listen, you guys
Thank
feel free, like, to